How's it going out there, YouTube? My name is Jesse, and I am the curator of the Golden Age, and this is another...
Lost Heroes of the Golden Age.
Yes, this is Lost Heroes of the Golden Age, and this is an interesting one.
He only has one appearance.
Yes, technically he had two appearances because he appeared in the next story.
They only made the single issue, didn't they?
Yeah, they only did put out one comic, so there wasn't a continuation of it.
We don't even get to see his powers.
No, he really didn't get a chance either. I mean, in the second story, we got to see a little bit more of his powers, but he was a guest appearance in that story, which is really weird. How in the origin story we really don't get a glimpse of what he's capable of, but in this next story, which I don't think the artwork was completely different from the first story. And the one where he does a guest appearance, we actually get to see more of what he's capable of than in his first appearance. I don't know if this publication was really intent on making more comic books because they only had the one appearance. I haven't really been able to find anything out about them, so I don't know why they only had the one issue. In the end of the very first story and the very end of the last story, they indicated that we were going to find more about these people as we had more issues of Thunderbolts. And there were no other issues, but it looked like they had every intention of continuing. But, I mean, scientific means creating superheroes was kind of a mixed bag back then. I mean, yeah, something like Captain America being a scientifically created superhero went on for a long time, but then in 1946, where superheroes were starting to die off, and the scientifically created superhero Atom Man, which I did cover very early in this series, also only went on for 2 issues. So, I mean, science creating superheroes wouldn't even become a big thing until the 60s. I mean, look at what Marvel did with their creations. But it's not a great story. This entire issue is only an origin story. We don't see the hero until the very last panel, and we don't even get an idea of what he's capable of, except for the fact that he's bulletproof in his first appearance. It took him being in a guest appearance in the next story to even see what he was capable of. So let's do a short lead in where we talk about what his powers are, and then you'll see the first appearance, which is silly. It's really silly. And it's not funny silly, it's just kind of stupid silly. But you can be the judge for that yourself. Let's go ahead and get into Atomic Thunderbolt. Atomic Thunderbolt. William Willie the Wharf Rat Burns first appeared in Atomic Thunderbolts #1 in 1946. The publisher was Regor Company, created by Unknown. It's kind of weird that he's created by Unknown, considering that he is the first story in the comic. So, if anything, he should be known. I mean, the first panel is always known, but I am staring here at the first page, and there is actually no mention of an artist, which is weird because the second story that shows up, it's not Atomic Man's story, but it actually does have a name for the created by. Now, the reason I'm saying the second story is because in the first story, we see Atomic Thunderbolt in 1 page. We don't get any example of what his powers are. This very first story is a complete origin story, and we really didn't get a chance to see what he does. So in the second story, which I don't know, I think it's kind of clever that the main character appears in a story that the art style does not suit who the character is. It's kind of interesting. There are 4 panel stories and a text story, and he only appears in the second story too. It would have been kind of clever if he appeared in all 4. I mean, and then we could have gotten it. So As we see him, he comes in and he apparently can fly. So he's talking about the dust that he sees everywhere. So one of his powers is he can fly. And then he says, don't be afraid, I'm Thunderbolt, but you better stop sweeping or else furnish out your gas, or furnish the populace with gas masks. So he says, stop sweeping, you're making it worse. So he says that he'll clear the atmosphere with airwaves. So he's able to clear this gas that these alchemists have been able to produce, which I think it's kind of funny that the second story has to do with alchemists, because they claim that alchemy was kind of the science that creates the atomic thunderbolt anyways. So needless to say, this is a stupid comedy story. And then the atomic thunderbolt appears at the very end. They're getting dragged off by some sort of talking bird that I think they created. I really didn't care about this story except for the fact that Thunderbolt is in there. You two again, how'd you get way up here? That's a trade secret. We take you to mind your own business, but bring us home first. That's really no way to talk to a guy who just saved you. So, from what we can get from Atomic Thunderbolt is, in his origin story, we'll see him being able to pack an atomic punch, and you'll see what I mean. So he can generate atomic explosions by punching things, generate airwaves to clear out areas. He can fly, and apparently he's super strong because he's carrying both these two away. And that's about the extent of the powers. If he had more, I'm pretty sure more episodes or more issues would have elaborated more on his powers, but that's about all I can tell. He can generate power, airwaves, fly, and he's super strong. And let's get on with the origin. Transmutation, the dream of centuries, is an actuality. What ancient alchemists tried in vain to achieve, modern scientists have discovered by splitting the atom. But not only have they learned how to transmute lead into gold by changing the atomic structure, they have created new elements never before known to the world. It remains for Professor Josiah Roan to do his colleagues one better when he transmutes living flesh into... But that's the story of Thunderbolt. So turn the page and read for yourself. Oh, hold on. I'm going to go with the new elements that have never before been seen to the world, because even after 1945, we did create new elements on the periodic table. But hold on. Can you make lead into gold? Let's see. Is it possible to convert lead into gold? Alchemists claim that you can. Let's see. Yada, yada, yada. There might be actually a way to do this. However, it is not clear if the process is economically viable or practical. So, maybe the process might be, maybe it might be possible, but it doesn't seem like there would be any reason to, whether it would be practical or economical to do so. So let's just continue with the story. This is Van Pelt Castle, long abandoned. No living thing has been seen near this house for 100 years. Wait a minute. You just said it's Van Pelt Castle, and then you said near this house. Is it a castle or is it a house? You just said castle, and then you said house. For 100 years, and no wonder, for what living thing would venture here? Everyone knows this place is haunted. And so it is, but not by a ghost. It is Professor Josiah Roan, a leading scientist of the Atomic Bomb Project, who haunts this house. There is no other way. I must have a human subject. I think this is water here. And for later in the story, that would make sense. But later on, when he's driving back to this castle, it doesn't look like there's any water anywhere nearby. Anyways, he talks about how he needs a human subject. And even if he has to kidnap and murder somebody, his experiments must go on. See right here, the contribution to scientists will more than compensate for a murder or two. What a nice night for a murder. Well, hold on. 1, 2, 3. You said murder in 3 different back-to-back panels. You really wanted to cement in the fact that you were going to kill somebody, didn't you? I mean, good Lord. This is Bass Beach, about 4 miles from the Van Pelt estate. So, yeah, I guess that maybe that castle is near water. So we see this crate here, Professor Josiah Roan. Care of, bags, beach, danger, do not open, keep away, contents radioactive. Radioactive. Okay, this is 1946, never mind. We see this guy just sitting here, and he looks extremely despondent. This gentleman is known locally as Willie, the wharf rat. I think that these would commonly be kind of guys that hang out at like docks or stuff like that. He is a cross between a beachcomber and a bum. Oh, I guess. Okay, there you go. But he was once William Burns, a merchant marine. A Nazi torpedo exploded too. Oh, okay. So he once was a merchant marine, but I guess he's suffering from PTSD. And these jackasses pop a bag near him. Torpedoes, abandoned ship. There is no way that someone's going to pop a bag and you think it's a torpedo. As he scolds this kid, a few guys come up to him and ask him if he wants to make any money. He's like, "You're always lying around these docks, but we know that you have stuff for the professor, and we want to know where he's at." He's like, "I don't know where he comes from. He picks up the stuff and he leaves." Anyways, what secrets are you guys? What secret are you guys? You're not supposed to be asking questions like that. Don't get difficult, Willie. Or, "Hey, somebody's coming. Let's scram." So they run off, and he talks to the professor, and he's like, "Why are you so close to this crate? Didn't you read that they're radioactive? You're going to be dead if you stay next to it." "What's the difference?" "You mean you don't care if you live or die?" "No, why should I? I'm not good for anything anymore." "You're just the man I'm looking for. Come on, Willie." "Huh? Is this the guy you're going to murder? I mean, you did say murder an awful lot of times. Are you planning on murdering this guy?" Okay. So these guys that they are hiding off in the corner, they recognize it was the professor, and there's like, "Hey, this is good. We can follow the car." Let's see. What do you want me for? "An experiment that will probably kill you." I mean, he's awfully blunt about it. "You picked up the right man, Professor. No one will ever report me. I don't know if it will be a consolation to you, but you're helping me make a tremendous scientific contribution to science." And as he races off, he puts up a barrier so that they can't follow him. Okay, this guy is doing experiments in a gigantic castle. First of all, the castle is obvious. Second of all, he may have put up a barrier in the road, but I'm guessing that there are not too many roads to this castle. I mean, castles like this usually only have one real main way to get to them. So even if he cut them off, I'm pretty sure that these guys could have deduced that the experiment was happening at the castle. I mean, I'm looking at this, and it only looks like there's one road leading to this. Hey, we're cut off. But he's probably in that castle, way up there where we see a red car driving into. I don't know. So they go into the castle. You'll see how efficient the War Department is. Even built a secret entrance for me. I don't see how it's a secret entrance. I mean, the way you're driving in, it looks like it's visible for everybody. So he's showing them around the workshop, and he explains how he's doing atomic research. What's this experiment? The experiment is transmutation and attempts to change the atomic structure of the human body to make new tissues immune to radioactivity and atomic explosions. Sit down in there. So he straps him into the chair. I love this. I love this paragraph right here. Yes, but it will save mankind from itself. It will make men indestructible. It will end all wars Oh, no, not this one. It was this one. Okay. In a moment now, I'll know if my theory will work. Either you'll be vaporized into nothingness, or you will emerge from that cylinder a man such as the world has ever known. Hey, you're going to be either the greatest or you'll be atomized. So we see all this energy going into the shell that Willie has been... Sorry. That Willie has been put inside of. So... I mean, it looks rather scientific, that's for sure. Okay, and these next three panels are really ridiculous. But here we go. And now for the neutron bombardment. But first, to lock the plutonium. Don't want to blow the whole place. Uranium lock, plutonium release. Great heavens, I pulled the wrong... Boom! Aren't you supposed to be You're a genius scientist who worked on the atomic bomb. This is like the biggest experiment of your entire life. You've even said so. How are you so absent-minded that you pull the wrong switch? It's not called the Nutty Professor. I mean... I'm pretty sure he could have still been Thunderbolt without you blowing up the entire castle. And now look at that. Yeah, that's definitely water in the background. And at Bass Beach, whoa, did you see that lightning? It blinded me. It wasn't lightning. And then, a moment later, the collision. What? It's an earthquake. Let's get out of here. And then the sound waves rumble. What was that? It sounds like the end of the world. How did you guys get into a boat so fast? I mean, I'm guessing that these things are happening one after the other. The lightning, the collision, and then the sound waves. How did you guys get into the boat so fast? But that's not all. Something a flame from the friction of... Okay, hold on. But that's not all. Something aflame from the friction of the speed comes hurtling down from space. Wait a minute. Did you get blasted into outer space? And then you're coming down? I mean, that's quite an explosion. The shockwave was so powerful, you went into outer space and came back down. I love the sight of the planet with the ring. Only problem is there's no planet with rings that we would be able to see from the Earth. I mean, even if you're just like right into the atmosphere of Earth, you're still not going to see a ringed planet. And now it's meteors crash. If I live through this night, I'm going straight. I'm pretty sure that if something like this were streaking down from space, as sizzling hot as you claimed it to be, you guys are dead. I don't, it's not just going to break the boat in half and throw you guys in the water. You are toast. Where did you come from? Your guess is as good as mine. There was an explosion. I felt myself shooting through space. And, well, here I am. I don't even want to know. Hey, look, a yacht's pulling up. Oh, hey, wait for us. That's them, all right. Now I've heard everything. The chief actually got soft-hearted. So apparently this guy is in charge of the two people that wanted to know where the professor was. So he's pulling them on board, and he's like, look, I'm not saving them for sentimental reasons. That blast could have only have come from the Professor Roan's laboratory blowing up. We will have to go elsewhere to steal atomic secrets, so I don't need your services any longer. So he brought these guys on board so he could murder them. Hey, that seems to be the theme of this whole issue. And what is going on with your Tommy gun? Okay, the Tommy gun is longer than an M16 rifle. I don't think Tommy guns are supposed to be this freaking long. All right, men, dump them overboard before they stain the deck. Ah! And then they start to shoot at Willie. What on earth? What on earth's the matter with you? Why don't you drop dead? I'm shooting you. Die. Why won't you die? That's just, I'm sorry. That's just so stupid. Why won't you drop dead? I don't know. All I know is I'm going to punch you. And what a punch. Boom. Apparently he punched him so hard that the boat, it blew up. And that's what it's showing here. It's showing a blow up of the yacht. What was the okay, I'm going to read this last set of panels right here. What was it the professor said? Invincible and indestructible? It's beginning to add up. This experiment was a success, even though he didn't live to see it. You punching this guy so hard that the yacht blew up doesn't make any sense. He said that if I lived, I'd become a man such as the world had never known. But he wanted me to make all men. He wanted to make all men like me. Now he can't. But I can make his dream come true. I will devote my life to save mankind from itself. And I will. You guys didn't proofread that last sentence, did you? And so, Thunderbolt is born. Don't miss the amazing adventures in the next issue of Thunderbolt Comics. Watch for it at your newsstand. Now, I have never heard this publication before I started reviewing this video. And this isn't the only... the very last story also references a couple of kids venturing off into some sort of dinosaur playground or play park or something. And they also say that their adventures will continue in the next issue of Thunderbolt Comics. So I don't know if this was intended to go on or not, but I honestly think they had every intention of making another issue. I hope you like this issue. I hope that you're enjoying what I'm doing on this channel. If you have any requests of obscure superheroes, you can go ahead and leave me a comment in the comment section. You guys might know of some that I have overlooked. I mean, this is another one that I stumbled onto. I love doing the one and done heroes because if I don't cover them, who's going to? All right. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, I'll be seeing you.